Thank you for coming to my presentation. I will do my best to tell you in 30 minutes about what vulnerabilities we have in the popular GSM devices, how and why you should hack them, how you can find them, and I count on you having some fun during the process. A little bit about myself. I'm an independent security researcher. I do different GSM devices, telecom systems and devices, operator support, and I will mix it up and try to make it funny for you. So the plan is like this. I will talk about the types of devices, the methods you can use to hack them, provide some examples, if I have time, explain to you why you need to hack them and what you can get from them, how to find them, and why it is more difficult sometimes than to hack them. Let's start with the question of what GSM device is. I suggest it's a different GSM device that are controlled distantly through SMS commands, calls, or internet connection. We can say it's GSM alarms, divided into categories of GSM alarms that you put in your house or in your company. They use detectors to detect fire, intrusion, and send you a message or make a call. And often they have a small microphone that you can use to call that device and listen to what is happening around. Moreover, what is important, you can control them distantly. GSM electric sockets. It's a popular new device. You put it into the outlet, and now via SMS or call you can turn the device on or off. Quite convenient, but very unsafe. Different GSM controllers for smart homes. You can connect a lot of devices to them. Some controllers would assume you connect it, you do the setup yourself. Some would say, would assume you already have set up connections for alarm and other stuff. Now let's move to more serious devices like industrial controllers, which are usually quite similar to the home version but offer more features, additional control methods, and they can often be controlled and reconfigured distantly. Also, you have access control systems, like you come to a door, send an SMS or call, and the lock is open, and GSM trackers that you can buy, and if you don't go to jail for spying, then you will be able to track your car or bike or whatever. Or things that are sold, smartwatches for kids. Formerly, they are also spying devices that you can put on your kid's hand and listen to what is happening or call your kid at any time. Let's talk about why you would need to hack GSM devices. First of all, it's a direct attack. If you can hack the alarm, then you can turn it off and you can steal everything from somebody's home. Then you can use the mic. If you put an unprotected alarm in the office, then all the discussions can be listened to. Then if you talk industrial controllers, you can disrupt the production process, like turn on off the pumps, heat up the stuff, and as an extreme, you can destroy the production by creating some explosion or breaking the technical process. Then you can consider terrorism, political events, and an interesting idea is financial attacks. As GSM device always has a SIM card with some balance, this balance can be of interest to hackers, because if you can hack thousands of devices, then you can get millions of rubles as a result of this attack. Then you can use GSM devices as a botnet for spam, different attacks on the user attacks, user accounts, mobile operators, interesting ideas. And
Глобальная проблема GSM-устройств.
what is the big issue with GSM devices? We have a lot of points of failure. This diagram shows how the device is built. So the detectors, connected devices, controller, modem that talks to the external world, and main keys, keypads, magnets, other stuff that you use to control it. And in general, any of those pieces can break down, or it can be hacked. Moreover, you have dangerous outside world that this device is connected to. Often, the modem is working with a base station to other base stations. The user devices are talking to other base stations like tablet or whatever you use to control it. We have some magic as mobile operator networks and a lot of other systems of mobile operators, device configurators, security company devices, both physical security and those who were setting this device up, and a lot of employees by the mobile operators that you can bribe and ask to do something. And the main issue is that the breach at any level, any point, you can either turn the device off or you can get access to it. And let's start with the base attacks and start with serious and end with serious security story. So the device should be set up properly, and this is a big issue because you cannot just buy the block and put it onto the wall, put some detectors on the door, and be happy about it. Some intruders can break the wall or the window, and we lack the protection then. Or some detectors and sensors can be spoofed or covered by foil, for example. For some devices that would work, and this is something I'm sad about. Then we have classic connection issues. First of all, the connection between the sensors and the device can be hijacked, jammed, and if you use the device for something serious, then you can be attacked using the classical big exploits in GSM networks or some vulnerabilities that enable you to spend all the money on your account, like paid subscription attack or adding some service or adding extra SIM card using false documents. Those vulnerabilities are fixed that I found, but there are new, of course. And some devices can be turned off by the flood of calls. Also, when we try to manage the device, we need to be authorized. Different providers, vendors, give us different ways of doing so. The most popular is the caller ID check or SMS sender check or the code request. The issue is that caller ID is very easy to fake. SMS sender number is a little bit harder to break, but also easy to break. As a code, you usually have 4 digits that is easy to brute force. A couple of days would be enough to control your device. Often you have default passwords or hidden passwords. Like many devices would have two passwords, one to manage it and one to set it up. And even if you try to provide security for yourself, you would often change one password but not the other one. And many do not have authentication, like you call your one. Some of them would have hidden API or lack of authentication to manage the device. Like you know the phone number, you then send the command to the device and you can do whatever you want. Next issue is the other systems attack. We have a lot of companies doing security, Some will be ready to set the device up, and the others will be able to react to the incident. Many of them have issues with cybersecurity and organization. So in many cases, they are much easier to hack than the device if it's configured properly. You have old protocols to manage the devices. You can attack family members or colleagues that manage the device. You can also do phishing to, for example, spoof the user call from the device. The scared person would enter the password, and now you have the password. So now let's move to the industrial devices and talk about what their differences from the home based devices. So with the home-based devices, you have thousands of them, from alarms to kids' watches. They're easy to research because they are quite cheap. You can spend 10 or 20,000 rubles, buy a number of them, and research them for as long as you want. There's no issue that the fact about the company not selling you this device because they don't trust you. And they're easy to hack because they have simple and obvious issues, but they are quite hard to understand. With industrial devices, it's hard to it's hard to monetize the hacking of someone's cottage alarm, for example. But with the industrial devices, there's less and less of them, and because most companies would not put whatever they want into their network. There's less of them. They are harder to detect because many hackers wouldn't know what the device is or if he's looking for this uh, device or that. But so they are harder to uh, they are harder to hack. And let's try to divide them into three groups: individual person, individual company, and massive attack. With individual persons, I would assume those are people who bought the device for themselves. Individual companies are the ones that are trying to use some device, specific device in their business processes. And with a massive attack, we're just trying to hack whatever we can and then monetize it in some massive way. It's easy to hack the device because we can call from a specific number, it's easy to automate. But how do we find the target for our attack? In most cases, you address the device using the call or SMS. The site shows the amount of IP addresses that is possible and the amount of numbers only in Russia. And we see that IP addresses we can scan, there's a lot of utilities, tools to do this. It's simple and fast. With the mobile phone numbers, we don't have any publicly available database of the numbers because mobile operators try to hide it, both for because of the law and because of the common sense. So then we try to send an SMS, get a reply, and trying to understand what's on the other side. Is it a person, or is it a company, or is it some strange system, or a device that we are trying to find using the signatures? For example, we can write down all the devices. And it's long. The scanning will take long because it's at least 10 seconds. And to scan all the numbers in Russia, we will have a lot of SIM cards, so a lot of money on SIP accounts, and a lot of time. As I said, scanning is doable. It's very hard to do. It's expensive, and most probably we'll spend all our money doing this because it's hard to monetize. But we can use different methods of getting information about different sources to get in some information about all the phone numbers and get rid of the ones that we don't like and leave some thousands or millions of numbers where we have GSM devices, and with them we can already do something useful. The base idea, we create some numbers base and try to split them into three groups. Confirmed numbers are the ones that are definitely used in some GSM device, and we are trying to get as many numbers there as possible. Unconfirmed that we don't know about, and garbage, the ones that are not definitely used in the GSM devices. And we try to gather them using different methods. But one of the big issues is that the mobile operators are trying to save their mobile numbers pool, so they are passing the inactive numbers to other users. So we can't believe in the base of the old base of numbers during the last 10 years and say that here we have a living person, here we have a device. You need to actualize your base constantly and try to monitor it. So let's try to use a popular service like ability to choose the phone number when you buy it and when you change it. So operators try to somehow sell those numbers to you. And these numbers, you can get rid of a lot of numbers, like hundreds, tens of thousands for a megaphone in Moscow, or in the smaller regions, even hundreds of thousands. With Beeline or Tele2, the picture can be roughly the same. There's APIs that mobile operators provide that enable you to check if this number belongs to a physical person or a company. That depends on your research skills and the stupidity of the operators, the recklessness of their security. So we tried to create a system that would run the numbers through that API, remove the inactive numbers, and go to the next stage. First of all, we can guarantee that we can remove all the numbers that are used by the companies for the calls, because they've published it and they are waiting for calls, and they are very unlikely to put those numbers into devices. We can use Yandex, Double GIS, or other services that protect against spam or help you understand who is calling you. We can remove number of millions, some millions, or even thousands of millions numbers from the database. Next, we have a lot of companies that call people, sell banking, medical, or other services to people. I'm quite sure every one of you have at some point received those calls. So for the person who do GSM devices, the possibility of buying such bases is very interesting, because they have the database of the SIM cards that belong to real people and were not part of the devices. And most probably they are not now. They are not now in the device. But you have a scenario of a person buying an alarm and putting the old SIM there and the new SIM into their phone. And you have leaked databases from tens of thousands of numbers to the hotels losing millions of numbers databases. And the idea is that those numbers were used by people, and after some research we can remove them. Then we need to switch to some illegal actions that I didn't do and I don't recommend you do, but you need to know them. Pretty, there's high chance to get uh, mobile operators data for different numbers for a specific person or that we are trying to hack or specific company, and in some cases it can be interesting to get some information about the company that does security, because many numbers there will belong to devices or to the people who have ordered those devices. And then we have great new technology like Get Contact or others. The idea is that a lot of people download the application, allow them to access to their contacts and show you how this number is written down in the other contact books. This is unsafe, it breaks all the privacy, but there's a lot of users still. And you can just search for numbers that have alarm, house, car, dacha, or other names that are pretty much guaranteed to have devices under them. And one of the examples I love a lot, there's a lot of applications for iOS and Android. They provide the interface for you, but really they either generate a call or SMS or SMS template that you need to send. The issue is that they don't look nice, they're uncomfortable to use, but if you are ready to pay, you can hire a programmer that will create a nice application and people would start using it, and you will get a lot of information about numbers. For the servers that are used for tracking, forums or other giveaways that are used. This also applies. We were talking about device search when we were trying to get the device information about the devices we can hack. But now let's see, let's imagine we would like to hack this owner of a cool dacha or try to hack our neighbor. In that case, we use different methods. We know either the address or the name or the phone number, because it's unlikely we will try to hack someone without knowing anything about him. So then we use mobile operators data, we can pay a little bit and get the information we need. We can use fake base stations, social engineering, phishing, try to hack popular security agencies around, and often if this person or company provides is really of interest, then by spending a little bit on those actions, we can really have a very high ROI. And let me talk about one of the things I like a lot that I was doing even tonight. Those are security campaigns. The companies, they promote some devices to you or can come to you quite fast. The issue is that they often don't have enough money, they don't have well-defined infrastructure, and they try to advertise by all means possible. So the vendors would talk about the list of the companies they sold the devices to, and you will have a giant list of unsafe companies with unsafe devices, starting from individuals to huge manufacturing or banks companies, and often also the company that use those devices are talking about the devices they set up, talk about the clients they have, or they talk about the banks where they have their devices set up. So if the actor is quite motivated, they can find specific information, understand about the device, understand what vulnerabilities it has, and use those vulnerabilities to get access or break some production cycle. So let's move to conclusion. What I wanted to say is that to find the device is not quite easy, but it's quite possible, and it's easier than people think. Some models of devices are completely unsafe. They don't have authentication, they don't have access control, and some devices or some models are more secure, but to understand the level of security of your specific device is very, very tough task because we don't have any good certification. Industry devices are less widespread, so they are tougher to find and tougher to research, but if you do it, you will get an interesting result, and some would be very much interested to get those results. And you also need to take into account that the mobile operator security is very doubtful, so at least you need to think about duplication or using other technologies. With this, I conclude.